Hello there, it's Power Coach Alicia here. Welcome to your SOULstrology Show of the week. It is week 2 of Virgo, the archetype of sacred refinement, and we are talking all about the gifts and the shadows. Now, last week we met the archetype, so if you missed that video, make sure you go back and watch it right on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch all about week 1 in the archetype of Virgo. So this week we're really going to dive into what Virgo gives you and what Virgo costs you when it runs unchecked. Now keep in mind, on September 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing a free Discover Where Virgo Lives in Your Chart workshop. And that's where you get to take the learnings of Virgo and then apply them to your birth chart and understand them in your birth chart. Understand there's so many layers to the birth chart, and I'm only teaching you the archetype, right? And then from there, you learn the other pieces of your chart that make such an amazing difference in your life. So with Virgo, there are 2 faces, 1 power, right? So the 2 faces are the gifts and the shadows. Now, here in the queendom, the SOULstrology world, we say the gifts and the growth, right? Because, shadows is like lurking, it's hanging out there, not really paying attention to, it's unseen. No. Here in the queendom, we fucking grow. So, right? It's the gifts and the growths. Now, when Virgo is a gift, it's discernment, right? Looking at things like we talked about last week and being able to look at that and say, what is this saying to me? What is this asking for me? What is that, or from me, or of me? What does this mean to me? How am I going to move with this, right? Discernment is stopping to ask yourself some powerful questions before you move. And then from there, you can decide what you're going to devote your time, energy, and attention to, and then give it that precision that Virgo brings and that care that Virgo has, right? And so you see, craft and follow through and practical healing and sacred service, right? So using your craft or skill to create something. Again, we talked about that last week, and using the power of Virgo for that stay power, that stay energy, and being able to heal in a very practical way. Now, Virgos are amazing at sacred service. They're not big on superficial, like frivolous sort of things. So the ability to see what needs tending and actually tend to it. Okay, that is the power of Virgo. And I highly recommend that you screenshot this slide, because we'll be using the gift and the growth in the workshop. And don't worry, there will be opportunity for you to screenshot it there too. But the gift and the growth is where you're looking, right? You're looking at yourself. And when we get to the workshop, we're going to be looking at, where is this in your chart? What does it mean for you in your chart? How do you move with this energy in your chart? Are you in the gift portion, or are you in the growth sector? How do you bridge that gap? And what does that mean? What are those steps forward, right? So with that, care is Virgo's love language. And so this is the heart of the Virgo gift. And the thing about Virgo is no one else notices what she notices. Okay. And so the Virgo energy here is going to call out the things that most people are not paying attention to. Right. And sometimes that looks like maybe someone being spicy, maybe someone being sassy. I always call myself sassy, spicy, regardless of your archetype, right? It's love with its sleeves rolled up sort of energy. So it's like, hey, I love you. I love this. I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to create this. I want to make this. I want to have this. I want to organize this. However, let's fucking go, right? Virgo puts the action behind the idea, the thought, the feeling, the mission, right? The action behind the vision, right? Virgo is the mission, is the action, is the effort that leads to the results. Now, when you're looking at Virgo in the growth, or, when Virgo turns on you, Virgo energy turns on you, then you're looking at perfectionism. And so what can happen is maybe you do step out and you create that business, or you get that job, or you do that project. And instead of it getting finished, you're in this cycle of perfectionism. And what ends up happening is that perfectionism actually throttles anything actually moving forward, or you haven't even started the project and or the action, or moved in the decision, and instead you're in this loop of over analysis and wanting to have everything right, all of the angles, everything makes sense, all of everything before you even move. And again, if that is your mentality, then this idea that whatever this project is, whatever you're going to create, whatever you're going to do, it's never going to get done. You're never going to move. It's never going to get there because you're so focused in over analysis and then moving into criticizing. Oh, I don't know enough. This doesn't work. I got to change this. And so it ends up never finished. Okay. And so another thing to pay attention to, and again, we'll look at what does this mean for you, is your worth through usefulness, right? Oh, if I do this, if I prove, if I effort, if I earn, then I'm useful, then I deserve it. And then what that creates is this over serving until you're depleted because you're proving your usefulness. And that's all coming from control. And if you're not doing that, right, when you're not in there, that energy, when you're not making those efforts, then you have anxiety in the body, or here in the Queendom Soulstrology, what we talk about is your nervous system firing, right? Then your nervous system speaks up and is like, hello? Like, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel right for me. Something isn't right here, right? And so then you've got the fire bells ringing, or the fire alarm ringing. So here's where the gut punch comes from, Virgo. The standard was always meant to serve you, and then you serve it, right? So when it comes to you and how you move, or rephrase, the standard was always meant to serve you. And when this can get twisted and distorted is somewhere along the way you started serving it. So let me say that again. The standard is here and is meant to serve you. However, if you get distorted and you're in the growth side, you start serving it. Now, that standard could be a person, a circumstance, a thing, an intention, a business, a career. It can be a lot of different things, right? That standard doesn't have to be something that's not tangible, or that you don't get, or that you're not connected to. So I want to make that really clear here, that if you are serving it instead of allowing it to serve you, you're going to get caught in that cycle of over efforting for your usefulness and then serving until you're depleted so that you can have control with your nervous system firing like crazy. Okay. So from here, when you're looking at the gift and the growth, if you're in the gift, then you're discerning, right? If you're in judgment, then it's time to grow. If you're in devotion, then you're in the gift. If you're self-abandoning yourself, if you're self-abandoning, though, then you're in the growth. Because listen, devotion is devotion to self, then others. Keep that in mind. As women, we get really fucking distorted that, devotion is outside of ourselves and is about everyone else. It's you first, then them, right? So it's so, so, so important. And it's like when you're looking at it, it's the same energy, but it can be dialed too far. Discernment can turn to judgment if that dials too far. Devotion can turn to self-abandonment if that dials too far. Precision and, badassery can turn to perfectionism if that dials too far. Being in service can be depletion if that dials too far. Remember, discernment, devotion, precision, service, it's all you first. Pour into you first, and then from there, you can give that out, right? So this is where, if you understand the archetype, you can actually go, okay, well, when I'm in there, I'm in that shadow. And then, like I said, in the workshop, we're going to look at what area of your life, how does this impact you? How do you move with it? I promise you can study your chart for years and then come to one of my workshops and just listen to a piece of this and go, holy fucking shit. I never knew this. I've studied so much. This makes so much sense. How could I have been studying for all these years? And I'm just now finding this out, right? That's what the power is of this. Okay. Now, when it comes to the growth point, it's important to note that when you're in the growth area, there's not something wrong with you, right? it's not a different woman either. It's not someone who's outside of you. It's the gift under pressure. Okay. The shadow or the growth point is the gift under pressure. Now, we did talk about elements in last session. However, we're talking about elements here as it pertains to the shadow. So the shadow wears a different costume, a different mask, depending on your elemental makeup, right? So again, when we get into the workshop, we'll dive deeper into this. See, in the shadow or the growth, the mask is that the fire burns out. The earth grinds and grinds and grinds, right? No time for rest. Air spirals with the scatteredness. Water absorbs everyone's energy and their feelings, right? And so what ends up happening is this collapses you, right? And so the medicine is the gift, and learning how to work with that with your chart in a rhythm that is connected to you is what we're going to do in the workshop on September 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern. So the medicine here, and the medicine means shifting from the growth point to the gift, is keep the eye, right? Pay attention, see what needs to be seen, called forward, and where you're meant to be called forward. So keep the eye out, right? Keep that precision, keep that sharpness, and drop the punishment, because discernment with compassion is the entire practice of Virgo. See, a healthy Virgo is discernment with the compassion. So like I said, you keep the eye, you drop the punishment. And so what that might look like is, let's say in this example that you notice that your partner is didn't keep their word with something. Okay. They didn't keep their word with something that they said that they were going to do. And you notice that. That's keeping the eye. Okay. Instead of moving forward into the punishment, right? You just hold on to what you noticed, what you witnessed as evidence, right? And then evidence over time helps show you the pattern so you can make the decisions. And again, you can pull that out of partnership and you can put that in your own actions, right? Keep the eye on, oh, this is how I usually sabotage. This is what I used to do. This is how I used to work. Oh, and I get to this point, this is what I do. But drop beating yourself up, feeling like a failure, calling yourself an imposter, blah, 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 blah. You're not good enough. You're too much. All of the things, you drop that and just utilize the information, okay? So your gift and your shadow share an address, and the address is the house that it lives in. Also, we talked about the elements as well. So from here, we're going to take this information. We're going to go in to next week where we're looking at Virgo through soul, love, and wealth. And then we'll wrap our show series for the month up on Virgo with living the archetype and what it feels like to live the archetype and what it means to live the archetype, and understanding what are rituals for Virgo? What are the kind of rituals that you would want to do in Virgo season? What kind of herbs do you want to work with in Virgo season? Smells and colors and crystals. And it's not going to be every single one of these every single time, but we'll pull the things out that are most important when we wrap. So next time we're going to be talking about Virgo through your soul, love, and wealth. Okay. So this is your call to register for discovering Virgo in your birth chart. You can find out where Virgo lives in your chart. You're going to see the life area that it activates. We're going to talk about, naming your gifts and then your growth points through Virgo in your chart, and then help you begin working with this archetype. So you'll go to workshop.powercoachalicia.com. Again, that's workshop.powercoachalicia.com. And then, you'll get reminders, all those sorts of things. And then join us on September 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we dive into this. I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth it. I want you there. It's going to make a world of fucking difference. And like I said, coming up next week, we are going to be talking about Virgo through soul, love, and wealth, and where Virgo touches who you are, how you love, and what you build. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, SOULstrology by Power Coach Alicia. These go out on the YouTube channel. The workshop is on the YouTube channel as well. So highly recommend that you subscribe. Make sure that you register though for the workshop. You'll get reminder emails, reminder texts. That's where all the good stuff comes through. So you'll register at workshop.powercoachalicia.org.